On the phone, it's a pleasure to welcome back to the program Matt Taibbi on his latest piece that is showing up in Rolling Stone. I guess the 29th, the issue of the 29th, ripping off young America, the college loan scandal. Matt, how are you?
How's it going, Sam?
It's going pretty good. Obviously, a lot of people are talking about Syria right now, but
Right.
this college loan issue and the cost and debt that is being incurred by folks who go to college. We've now got over $1 trillion worth of student loans extant. And this is just, I mean, this is obviously something that's going to have impact on our economy and on the middle class for years and years to come. Let's just go back and sort of track this deal that was made a couple of weeks ago to prevent college loans, or at least the federally offered loans, the interest rate from doubling. Just give us the broad outlines of that so-called deal.
So they had a deal in place a couple of years ago that would keep student loans at for the interest rate for most forms of federally backed student loans at 3.4%. The mechanism that they put in there to try to force Congress to make sure that they came up with a new deal was that if they didn't, by the time the deal expired, the rates would double to 6.8%. They failed to come up with a new deal on time this summer, and so for about a month, student loan rates were officially going to be at 6.8%. But then they came up with this new compromise, which sounds great because it's going to reduce student loan rates this year for people who are entering school. But the Congressional Budget Office, the new plan is actually pegged to market forces. It's pegged to things like Treasury bill rates, and they expect that those will rise over the next 5, 6, 7 years. And the CBO has actually calculated that the government's going to earn just slightly more than just slightly under $1 billion more over 10 years than it would under the old plan that would have doubled rates. So right now they're projecting to earn like 184.7 billion over 10 years, and the old plan would have been 184 billion. So it's good for this year, but in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, unless they fix it, it's going to go way back up again.
And I mean, there's 2 points that we should make here. One is that people should understand that the government this is a source of revenue for the government. There is no cost associated with these loans, and I want to talk more about why that's the case. But the other sort of more broader point is that this is sort of the how to put this without being profane. This is sort of just the crappy icing on a crap laden cake in some respects.
Right. Right.
But let's. I just want to, before we get into both those issues, let's just go back to 2010, where there was an initiative by President Obama to essentially take the to take the middleman out of this process.
Right. Yeah. They did do that, and it seemed like a great idea at the time because we had this ridiculous system. You'd have federally backed student loans, but they'd be administered by private companies, private lenders, and banks, and companies like Sallie Mae. So you'd have private companies that would be basically taking very little risk because they were federally backed loans, but they were making enormous profits on the loans. So Obama seemingly said, hey, if we're going to take the risk on these loans, we might as well just administer them ourselves, and we'll take the savings, all that profit that was going to be made by those private companies will take that money and will turn it into new Pell Grants, and we'll send more kids to school. And it's a great idea, right? But the funny thing is, they claimed that they were going to save something like $89 billion over 10 years with that plan. But a couple of years later, if you look at the Congressional Budget Office projection for how much money the state is going to earn on those same kinds of loans, it's twice that, or more than twice that. It's 185 billion. So yeah, we probably did save some money, but whether or not we actually put all that money into savings for ordinary people is unclear at this point.
Right. When we say savings, it just means that the government's going to make more profit off of this, and the savings are just not enjoyed in any fashion by the students who are going to college.
Right. I mean, what they have done is that they've made more credit available, but people, this is is that people confuse credit with aid, right? Like, giving somebody a loan is not giving them money. It's not giving them an education. It's lending them money and telling them they're going to have to pay it back with interest over the course of their lives. So if you take all that savings that you made by cutting out the middleman and you convert it into more credit for young people, that's great on one level, but on another level, it's just another way to generate revenue on the backs of young kids who want to go to school.
I mean, it's interesting because it seems to me that the agenda here is confused in some respects. I mean, and by that, ostensibly this is to provide an opportunity for more people to go to college, but it's a bank shot in many ways because this loan, I mean, in addition to the fact that it's saddling people with a tremendous amount of debt and taking something that for many years in this country was nearly a right and making it one that is a very costly privilege. And these loans, as they stand, are not typical in the sense that it's more like an indentured servitude. Talk to us about how the loan that's involved here is different than if I take out a loan to get a car, let's say.
Yeah, pretty much any other kind of debt. You can theoretically you can declare bankruptcy to discharge if you can't pay. If something happens to you, you become disabled and you're unable to make the money back. You can get out of that debt. Even gamblers can get away from their gambling debt through bankruptcy. They've obviously made it more complicated since the bankruptcy laws got passed during the Bush years, but for most kinds of debt, in extreme circumstances, you can discharge it through bankruptcy. You can refinance it. There are all kinds of things you can do. With student loans, there's no discharging of the debt through bankruptcy. So when you sign up for this loan, it is an unbreakable relationship. You will have that loan until it is either paid off or until you die. And this is something that most kids don't understand. They just don't get. The people who are taking these loans out, they're 18, 19 years old. They've never engaged in any kind of complex financial transaction before, maybe the Columbia Record Club, but nothing like this, And what they don't realize is that they're getting into a thing where if they start defaulting on their payments, they could end up owing six figures for the rest of their lives. And I talked to a lot of people for this story who are 40 or 45 or 50 years old and haven't touched the principal on these loans, which they're never, ever going to get rid of. And people have come to accept in almost Zen-like fashion that these loans are sort of part of their life and will be forever. And that's that's just something that's different about these loans.
To look at the silver lining on some level, this is their first financial lesson, right? I mean, this is
Right.
it's like an intro course. But sadly, it's an incredibly expensive one. So let's talk about the real problem here. Is the affordability of college. I mean, it seems to me like, the question of loans, and you make this point very well in the piece, that, we can talk about the interest rates, but the real problem here is the principal. It seems to me that we have dealt with the issue of the affordability of college and the ability of middle class and lower income people.
Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I'm sorry, I just lost you for a second. What did
Well,
you just say?
we're dealing with the problem or the desire for society to allow lower income and middle income people the opportunity to go to college, which has obviously an important payback down the road.
Right.
But we're dealing with that by, rather than making college less expensive, we're just sort of almost putting a Band-Aid on a bigger problem. And in some respects, it's reflective of the question of medicine in this country. We have spiraling costs, and instead of trying to figure out how to pay for those spiraling costs, we should be dealing with the issues that create this cost.
Right. Yeah. No. And that's actually a really good analogy, because a lot of the same problems are in play here. With medicine and education, that you have the key problem is that they can't address the problem of costs without offending the single powerful lobby that lobbies on this issue. So you can't really get at medical costs without taking on insurance companies and doctors and hospital providers, and they don't want to do that. So what do? They created this healthcare plan that didn't address the main problem. It got everybody covered theoretically, but through this Byzantine kind of process that will manage to preserve the profits of those two lobbying groups. In this case, what do you have? You have they could have addressed this by somehow making college more affordable. One of the ways they could have done that is by refusing or by kicking non-performing colleges out of the lending programs. They could have tied lending to performance in some concrete way. In other words, if you're some for-profit school, if you're the University of online whatever, and you're asking kids to pony up $20,000 a year, and none of your graduates end up getting jobs, and they can't pay back, well, then those colleges probably shouldn't be getting paid for by federally backed student loans. They should have found some way to control that lending. But that's exactly what they didn't do. They did the opposite of that. They've just made more and more lending available, and what they're doing is they're selling that to the general public as, oh, we're the education-friendly administration because we're making it possible for more and more people to go to school. But all that really is, it's a contracting scam. Basically, it's a way to funnel more money to colleges and universities who are hiring more and more administrators with six-figure salaries, and are doing more and more building. And if you've been to any college campus anywhere lately, you'll see that there's an enormous construction boom going on. They're building hanging gardens and Olympic swimming pools and all this cool stuff. And a lot of that just comes from tuition money. That comes from federally backed student loans. That again comes from kids who are taking out these massive, essentially mortgage-sized loans at an age when they have no idea what they're doing, and then they're going to end up paying for that for the rest of their lives. And so that's what it is. Instead of controlling costs, they just larded more debt onto a group of people that has no lobby in Washington.